How's it going, folks? And welcome back to the perfect goalkeeper in FM22. You guys loved the first part. I'm really happy to report we're back here again. He's still at Dortmund. Before we talk about how he's got on and take a look into the future, we gotta run the intro. So yes, gang, we're back. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I've been looking forward to part 2 of this. Apologies, it's been a couple of days since part 1. Of course, if you haven't seen part 1, it's linked to the top of the description. As for how our man is doing, well, we've gone forward 1 year from where we left things last time. Of course, last time we were here, he had joined Dortmund halfway through the Bundesliga season. And one thing that I failed to, acknowledge and actually notice was that during his first half a season at the club, he did actually win the Europa League. They did also lose in the DFB Pokal final to Bayern Munich. But no, he won a Europa League, which, I mean, look, it's not the biggest trophy in the world, but it's still a pretty good achievement. I don't know how much credit we can truly give him for that, considering it was only his first half a season. Of course, we are now back 1 year in the future. It's 2025. And he's been made vice-captain of Valverde's Dortmund. Yes, but you might be wondering, how have they got on this year? Well, they didn't win the league. Bayern beat them on goal difference. I mean, that hurts to see it a little bit, doesn't it? Looking at the average ratings, though, he's done pretty well for himself. He's had the third highest average rating in the league. Generally, in my mind, I always feel like goalkeepers get lower ratings in Football Manager. I don't know if that's just like confirmation bias. Certainly in older versions of Football Manager, goalkeepers never really got credit for their performance. I'll tell you what, he's getting some credit and then some. He only played 25 of the games. I wonder if the Asian Cup involved him getting called up over the early period of the year. When he did play, he played very well, though. 8 clean sheets, 5 player of the matches, got player of the match in 20% of the games he played. Unfortunately, Dortmund didn't win the league. Did they win anything else, though? Let's take a look here for the 2024-25 season. And, no. In the Champions League, they got knocked out by Liverpool in the first knockout round. And in the DFB Pokal, they got knocked out to Wolfsburg. So, not the greatest campaign on that front, really. So on the international front, of course, the perfect goalkeeper is going to be trying to carry the nation a little bit. I feel like now he's got to Dortmund, he's made a name for himself. He's going to be playing for top European clubs with great players all around him. Internationally, things are going to remain challenging. You can see here in the world rankings, they are ranked 58th. Now, previously, when we started things, they were in 76th. So China are slowly but surely climbing up a little bit when it comes to the nation rankings in FIFA's world rankings. In terms of their actual international fixtures, unfortunately, of course, just as a little reminder, World Cup qualifiers, they didn't make it to the World Cup in 2026. So it's not going to be until 2030 that we get a better idea as to how he can do on the big stage, if indeed they're able to actually qualify for the next World Cup. World Cup qualifiers happen in 2028, I guess, for the 2030 World Cup. So with that in mind, I think we'll go forward 3 years. We'll get to the end of the World Cup qualifiers and see, could he make a difference for China? Can he make a difference for Dortmund? Can he win them a Bundesliga trophy? And also, is he going to renew his contract? Because that is ending in 3 years. 2028 feels like a day where lots of things are going to be happening. I'll see you guys then. So we've gone forward 3 years. Quite a lot appears to have changed. The perfect goalkeeper, up to 54 caps, still only 23 years old, but donning the red of Manchester United. Yes, he moved for 89 million in the last year of his contract at Dortmund. And, he's had a year playing in the Premier League. In terms of how Dortmund did in the Bundesliga over the past few years, well, unfortunately, they weren't able to dethrone Bayern Munich's dominance. In fact, Leipzig this year are the first team to do it in this save game. So he couldn't make a difference for Dortmund, although he had some pretty good seasons, all things considering. 33 games played in 25-26, slightly fewer in 26-27. And then this big move to the Premier League where he's played every single match for a Manchester United team that have managed to win the league by 7 points. Looking at their defensive record, they have the best defence in the league. 28 goals conceded in 38 is still quite a lot, but he's doing very well. Worth noting, he did pick up a fair few player of the matches, 6 in the Premier League across the 38 games. Marcus Rashford, by the way, also playing for Manchester United, got 11. So between them, they got half the man of the matches that Manchester United had dished out over the year. When it comes to the average rating, a 7.43. Of course, this is his first year in in Manchester, playing in the Premier League. So a big step up in the overall quality that is surrounding him. And goalkeeping, kind of statistics-wise, he was very good. All these players who were ahead of him played way less games than he did. So he had the best goalkeeping stats in the league. He kept 16 clean sheets, which was more than Alisson in second. If you were just wondering, kind of, how does the Alisson rate up against the perfect goalkeeper? Here's the comparison. One thing that's really worth noting is this perfect goalkeeper is like the Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo of goalkeepers. You could probably play through 30 years of a Football Manager save and never see a goalkeeper with this potential, never mind someone who could actually fulfill it. It's kind of crazy when you compare him to Alisson here, just how much better he is. In terms of some of the perfect goalkeepers milestones, we didn't cover these last time, considering we're a little bit further into the future now. We can take a look at these. So, of course, Carabao Cup winners this year with Manchester United, also won the Premier League. At Dortmund, it doesn't look like he won anything besides that Europa League in his very first year, although I've just spotted here, he did pick up the European Golden Boy a few years ago, finished first place in that in 2024. On the world stage, he's yet to win the Golden Glove for best goalkeeper. In fact, he's not even finished runner-up any years. I do wonder if now with a move to Manchester United, maybe that will help his world reputation and help him get his name out there a little bit more. And in a similar vein, he's not in the World Team of the Year yet. I say yet just because you have to assume at some point he's going to be noticed. And I feel like now playing for Manchester United, he's certainly going to be up there. You can see here actually a comparison between Donnarumma and the perfect goalkeeper. That's probably the best goalkeeper that actually exists in Football Manager in Donnarumma up against him. As you can see, the perfect goalkeeper probably still has him beat, although it really does give you an idea of just how ridiculous Donnarumma is in FM22. When it comes to the Chinese national team, they've continued to climb the world rankings. They're now joint 47th. And of course, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to be, I think, in the process of the World Cup qualifiers. Indeed, we are. They've been drawn in a group with the Philippines, Yemen, and the Maldives, and the UAE. They actually won that initial group. Do they then go into a second group? They do indeed. Okay, so 4 Asian teams will make it through here. It'll be interesting to see if they can make it through. Of course, the World Cup in 2030 on the horizon. I'm really impressed by how well he's doing here. They have not conceded many goals on the international stage. Of course, the thing to remember is, with all of this, they're playing against other teams in Asia. What I really want to see is what you can achieve for China on the world stage. They've got closer to a World Cup than they got previously this year, in terms of the qualifying phase they're now into. In the East Asian Cup, they've not won this competition yet in all the years. In fact, you can see, looking at the most recent standings, they finished joint top, but South Korea beat them on goal difference by 1 goal. So nice try, China. Maybe we'll get an East Asian Cup before the perfect goalkeeper's over with his career. I think they can consider themselves a tad unfortunate here. A draw against South Korea, and then they missed out on the title by virtue of the fact they didn't win the other 2 games against North Korea and Japan by as many goals as South Korea did. So all in all, age 23, our hero of the story is doing quite well at the moment, I think it'd be fair to say. He's got to move to Manchester United. He's won a Premier League title. Now I'm interested to see, can China make it to a World Cup? Can he win some more personal accolades? Will they get an East Asian Cup? We're going to go forward to 2031. Let's find out. We are back. It's 2031. He's still at Manchester United, now up to 81 caps in 26. I wonder if he can get to 200 caps. I guess it depends on how long his career goes on for, but with 20 natural fitness, he should still have a fair few years left in him. In terms of how he's performed for Manchester United over the last few years, as has been a trend really throughout his career, his average ratings are rather good. It's never dropped below a 7.3, and even in the last few years, it's been pretty extraordinary. This year, he only played 28 games, so he missed out on 10 matches, kept 10 clean sheets still, which is pretty impressive. I'm just wondering, has he had any injuries to worry about over his career? Looks like he has had a few injuries here and there. Actually had a pretty serious hip injury, which we didn't notice, so it's not really impacted him too much. But yeah, worth noting, he's not been 100% injury-free. I remember in the comments of the first part, people wanted to know about the hidden attributes the goalkeeper has. You can have a look at some of them here. The only thing that isn't kind of at its very best is sportsmanship and also loyalty. The reason I put those slightly lower is because I thought with not perfect loyalty, we might see him move around a little bit more. it would have been a little bit boring if he was stuck in just China the entire save game. But you can see here, 20 consistency, 20 important matches, only 1 injury proneness, has really, really good professionalism, is great under pressure, has ambition, is adaptable, and, well, I think he's shown his ambition. And I've also just noticed he's won a pretty major trophy with Manchester United. Because looking at things here, whilst they've not won the Premier League this year, they won the Champions League. They made it all the way to the final. They beat Bayern 1-0 in it. I assume he played for them. He did indeed. He got an 8.3 rating, was perhaps the man of the match between the two teams. Yeah, looking at things, I'm pretty confident he did get man of the match. They missed a penalty in the 86th minute, Bayern. That's mad. In terms of other milestones over the last few years, they won the Club World Championship. They actually won the Champions League 2 years ago as well. So he's won 2 Champions Leagues in the last 3 seasons. I now want to know what happened in 2029-30. So in the 1 year where they didn't win it, they actually lost to Real Madrid 2-1 and then lost on penalties after the second leg. He didn't have a great game actually in the second leg where they lost on penalties. Only a 7.1 rating. In the previous game though, he got a 7.9, which was the second best in the team as Manchester United got a win at the Bernabeu. I don't think he can shoulder too much of the responsibility. They won a few other domestic cups like the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. In terms of the Premier League, they won it in 28-29, but since then, they've not managed to do so the last couple of years. They finished twice, 2 years in a row, within touching distance of the team who are top. The season where they did win the league, you can see here, 31 goals conceded, very good defensive performance, 69 goals for. Nice. And they finished 1 point ahead of Liverpool actually to end the season. So from a club perspective, things are going great, but from a Chinese perspective, are things going good too? Let's take a look here. They got to the Asian Cup final this year and lost to Thailand after extra time. He got a 6.7 rating in that game. They did knock out Australia on penalties. They missed a lot of penalties in this game. I wonder if he had a role to play there. As for the rest of the competition, they knocked out Saudi Arabia, keeping a clean sheet. They knocked out Tajikistan, Iran, North Korea, and Vietnam, also featured in group stage games. The moment of truth, though, everyone. Did they make it to the World Cup? They did, and they made it to the 3rd round. Wow. So in a group that consisted of Spain, China, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, China made it through by virtue of the fact they got beaten by less goals than the Democratic Republic of Congo did against Spain. China and DR Congo drew 0-0 against each other, and Spain beat both the teams. They made it through to the knockout rounds, and then, if we look at things in a tree view here, you can see China knocked out Scotland on penalties. Unfortunately, they did go on to lose against Portugal. Maybe I'm going crazy here, but I feel like he's been involved in a crazy amount of penalty shootouts at club and international level. In this game against Scotland, Scotland took the lead in the 3rd minute. Kieran Tierney had an 85th minute red card, and then Ren Peng scored in the 91st minute. What a man. I mean, you can see he's not that good, but what a man. He got the crucial goal in extra time, and they went on to win on penalties. Perfect goalkeeper had the 2nd best rating in the team, and I think it'd be fair to say, looking at this China squad and the average ratings, they didn't do very well as a team. Unfortunately, that heroic performance couldn't last. They got knocked out to Portugal, who had 20 shots, 8 on target. He stopped a decent amount of them. In the end, it was a 77th minute goal by Ruben Dias, which saw Portugal win, and unfortunately China, on the World Cup stage for the first time in forever, crash out. All in all, China doing pretty impressively, though, to get to the final of the Asia Cup. Probably disappointing to lose in the final to Thailand, but still a good achievement for the team. In the world rankings, they're up to 33rd as well, which is a very significant improvement. When we started things, that was in 76th. If you were wondering about some of the other key players in the team, I did have a little quick look through. It's lots of really good defenders, actually, which is interesting. They've got here Sun Wenqiang. You'll have to put up with my atrocious pronunciations. Apologies to any Chinese speakers out there. Anderson, I mean, I can say that name. He's been pretty good for them. He's got 13 goals in 44 games. They've got Li Zhu, who is another kind of defensive player, another really, really good defender. Wu Yuan is another goalkeeper who I don't think is going to get many games. He's kind of been born at a very unfortunate moment in time. but he's still a good goalkeeper. He's on his way to PSV Eindhoven. And then the last of the players who kind of appears on the top player lists is Tian Yang, who is another centre-back. 43 caps for this man, 5 goals. Does seem like, in general, China have some really, really good defensive players, and I guess that's kind of shown by just how many clean sheets they have been able to pick up over the last few years. I think we'll go forward to 2034 for our next time jump. That will be just prior to the next World Cup. We should have a good idea of if China are going to actually be able to qualify. Worth noting, he's only got 2 years left on his current deal. Not got a new deal signed just yet. Will he move on? Will he stay at Manchester United? Let's go find out. I can't believe every time I do one of these videos, this happens. PSG, everyone's favourite club, they've signed the perfect goalkeeper. They signed the perfect player, Mr. Perfect. Now they've signed his, parallel universe cousin, and, they picked him up on a free transfer. He's gone full-on Donnarumma to Manchester United. Of course, he had 2 further years at the club. He saw those 2 years out. He did very well. 19 clean sheets this year, 18 in his final season in the Premier League. This year, a 7.62 rating, but only 3 player of the matches. I do wonder if by virtue of the fact PSG are just going to score lots of goals, he's going to find it harder to get player of the matches. In his last year with Manchester United, he still managed to get 13 of those, though. In terms of the final 2 years at Manchester United, they missed out on the title with 93 points in the 2031-32 season. And then in the last year, before he fled the nest, they won the league by 2 points. 99 points they managed, only 25 goals conceded. Clearly, that defensive record of Manchester United's was what ultimately won them the title. Given the fact he got 13 player of the matches, I feel like he left on quite a high at Manchester United here. As for how Ligue 1 is looking, I mean, do I really need to explain this? PSG were winning everything already. They've won the league unbeaten this year that's just gone. How many goals did they concede? 16 in 34. Yeah, he's very good. He's made a difference. Previous years, they conceded 24 and didn't go unbeaten. 25 and didn't go unbeaten. 25 again, they did go unbeaten a few years ago. I always just feel sorry for Ligue 1 in Football Manager because it's just PSG dominating for years. It's still the trend here. They finished 25 points clear. In terms of what he's achieved in terms of milestones after the last few years, he is starting to get recognised on the global stage now. He won the World Goalkeeper of the Year in 2032. Unsurprisingly, he has won it a few years since, albeit a little bit kind of hit and miss. You can see 2029 he won it at Manchester United. Finished runner-up 2 years in a row, but has retained it the last couple of years. Elsewhere, he won the World Golden Glove, which is, I believe, separate voting to the World Goalkeeper of the Year, but it always just kind of has very similar winners for the most part. So, again, well done to the perfect goalkeeper on that. And well, in his first year at PSG, he's won the Trophée des Champions, the French Cup, Ligue 1, but no European success. He did, however, get the Champions League Goalkeeper of the Season runner-up award, which he has won a fair few times over the years, just looking at things here. Mostly, of course, with Manchester United. Now, that's lovely and all. I want to know what's going on the international stage. Are China going to be playing in a World Cup? The good news is they are. The bad news is they're in a group with France and Guinea-Bissau. I mean, I still back them to get out of this group. How did they qualify, though? That is what I want to know now. They've just drawn with Germany in a friendly. That's pretty impressive. World Cup qualifying-wise, they finished top of the kind of champions group of all the best nations. Looking at things here, 6 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, only 8 goals conceded in 10. They had the best goal difference by a country mile. Came actually joint top on points with Iran. And I also spotted here, in the East Asia Cup, they actually won it. They didn't win it the most recent year, but they did win it in 2031. So round of applause for China. In a year where every other nation drew against one another, they managed to avoid drawing quite as many games, and so actually ended up winning it in fairly convincing fashion. What I would say is I think the games in this specific year were very boring. Not many goals scored across all the fixtures in the East Asian Cup. China starting to hover around the 30th place. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get any higher than 32nd here. The highest they did get actually was 28th in terms of FIFA World Ranking. You can see here, perfect goalkeeper's their key man. Behind him, though, they've got Wen Qiang, who's now playing for Borussia Dortmund. So another Chinese player following in the perfect goalkeeper's footsteps. Elsewhere, Wu Yuan, who, of course, is a goalkeeper, has got 2 caps over the last 2 years. Do you feel a tad sorry for him? Tianyang is another Chinese defender. He is playing for, is it Belenenses? That's definitely not how you say it, but I've given it my best attempt. Please, Portuguese viewers, let me know. And also, Dong Qing is playing for Leicester. I assume this guy's quite good. He is quite good. In fact, he's a really, really good centre-back. He started at Shandong, had a loan to the national youth team of China. There's a familiar story. And from there has played for Villarreal and now for Leicester. Again, it looks like China have got some really, really good defenders in their team. When you're going to look at the players and the leagues that they play in, it's certainly the defence with players playing for Leicester, Dortmund, PSG, where things shine. Higher up the pitch, their star striker is Bian Zhaohui, who is weird. He's a weird player, isn't he? 8 finishing. He's got 37 goals and 61 for the Chinese national team. What I would say is, based on what we've seen so far of the perfect goalkeeper's career, I am shocked at just how high his average ratings are. I always feel like goalkeepers have bad games. When I'm going through my own personal playthroughs of Football Manager, I feel like if a goalkeeper gets above like a 7.1, they've had the craziest season ever. So the kind of level of performance he has put in for his entire career is kind of mind-blowing. As I said earlier, this kind of player just doesn't really exist in most save games. Whilst it's theoretically possible, it's just not something that often happens. And, well, he is kind of single-handedly breaking the match engine. 105 caps, of course, now playing for PSG, earning the big bucks. He's got a 4-year deal at the club. Will be interesting now to see, is he going to play out the rest of his career at PSG? Is he going to maybe slowly lower the level of football that he plays at and try and kind of prolong his career for as long as possible? I suppose we're going to find out about that next time, as well as, of course, the World Cup, where, well, when we come back next time, it'll be 2035, and we're going to see how China got on. So if you want to leave a bold or outlandish prediction for how you think they're going to get on at their second World Cup of this simulation, leave it down in the comments. I'll look forward to seeing who's right and who is horrifically wrong. Anyway, gang, that is going to wrap up everything from me today. If you have enjoyed today's video, do drop a like on it. Part 3 will be coming your way very, very soon. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you've got your own idea, suggestion, whatever it may be for a video like this, an experiment in Football Manager, leave them down in the comments. And until next time, it is me, Jack, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.